No preseason snaps. No touchdown drives in prime time. No welcome to the NFL moment yet. And still, somehow, Shedeur Sanders has the Browns training camp in a chokehold. Veterans are buzzing. Teammates are rallying. Coaches are pretending they haven't noticed, but they have. And the media, they've gone from interesting fifth-round pick to he might actually be him in just a matter of days. And now, with names like Myles Garrett and Jeudy casually backing him in interviews and sideline whispers, it's becoming crystal clear. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. Shedeur Sanders isn't auditioning anymore. He's taking over. The unspoken shift from second-team filler to first-team vibe. Let's not ignore the facts. Shedeur hasn't been officially promoted. The depth chart still says second team. The coaches are still playing the rep distribution game, keeping things democratic. But let's be honest. When your second-string QB is going toe-to-toe with the starting defense and throwing darts while running with the twos, that's not just developmental work. That's a litmus test. And Sanders? He's passing it with flying colors. You could hear it in the defensive huddles. We got to tighten up. He's hitting everything. That's not something the first-team defense says lightly, especially when that first team includes Myles Garrett, one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league. Garrett doesn't hand out compliments like Halloween candy. So when he looks over during practice and tells a reporter, the kid's got something, you don't dismiss it. You write it down. Because Myles Garrett is not in the business of hyping quarterbacks unless they earn it. Jeudy didn't need to say much. Then there's Jeudy, who may only be months into his Browns tenure, but already understands the difference between camp buzz and real juice. During a light moment after practice, Jeudy was asked a softball question about how the team's rookies were progressing. He could have given the usual canned answer, but instead, he paused, looked toward the field where Shedeur had just wrapped up a red zone drill with back-to-back touchdowns, and said, "Y'all see what Shedeur's doing, right? Ain't no rookie stuff about it." That's the moment the shift became real. Because when a star wide receiver, who's played with a lot of quarterbacks, casually endorses a rookie like that, it means something. It signals that the players aren't waiting for the coaching staff's permission to respect Shedeur. They're already there. Confidence, not cockiness. The Sanders swagger. What separates Shedeur Sanders from the typical rookie quarterback isn't just his footwork or his accuracy or even his football IQ. It's the way he carries himself. He walks like he belongs, talks like he's been here for years, commands a huddle like a seasoned pro. And it's not fake bravado. This is a byproduct of growing up under the harshest spotlight in college football, handling nil scrutiny, being coached and challenged by one of the greatest athletes of all time, and still coming out all sharp, grounded, and unshaken. When you see Shedeur run a 2-minute drill, it's not frantic, it's surgical. He doesn't just react to pressure, he anticipates it, adjusts protections, communicates calmly with receivers. And when the play breaks down, he doesn't panic, he improvises. You can't teach that. And when a player brings uncoachable qualities into a room full of seasoned pros, the room notices. From brand to ball, why Shedeur is a cultural force. There's another layer to all of this, and it's where Shedeur breaks the mold. He's not just a quarterback. He's already a brand, a movement, a media-savvy, self-built figure who's as comfortable sitting down with a sports analyst as he is breaking down coverages. Some might roll their eyes at that. He's too polished, too media-ready, too focused on the off-field stuff. But here's the thing. He's still showing up and dominating on the field. His throws aren't sponsored. His reads aren't edited. His presence in the pocket isn't filtered through Instagram. The brand is loud, sure. But the ball? The ball is even louder. And in today's NFL, where quarterbacks are expected to be both CEOs and game changers, Shedeur's the rare rookie who's already both. That's why it's not surprising that fans are photoshopping him into Browns jerseys, turning his practice clips into viral edits, and referring to him as QB1 on social media, before he's even taken a preseason snap. Why the vets are rallying. Let's be clear, this team has been through it at quarterback. In just the past few years, Browns players have been asked to get behind a carousel of QBs, some overhyped, some underperforming, some just flat-out disappointing. They've seen guys flame out, fold under pressure, or lose the locker room entirely. So when a young, poised, unshaken quarterback comes in and earns respect, actually earns it, the response is immediate. That's why the veterans are responding to Shedeur. Not because he's loud, not because he's flashy, but because he's reliable. He's consistently sharp in drills. He communicates. He listens. He adjusts. He doesn't shrink when the defense comes at him. He doesn't make excuses when a rep goes sideways. He just keeps delivering. That's the kind of energy a team rallies around. Not out of obligation, but out of belief. The Browns' QB curse. Broken? You don't need a deep dive into Cleveland's history to understand that quarterback stability has been a mythical unicorn in this franchise's past. For decades, the Browns have cycled through every type of quarterback imaginable: veteran stopgaps, overhyped rookies, reclamation projects, game managers, run-first freak athletes. And yet, here they are in 2025, potentially sitting on a fifth-round rookie who, if allowed to take over, might just be the one who breaks a pattern. Shedeur doesn't just have the tools. He has the intangibles. He's not playing for headlines. He's playing with a quiet urgency, a sense that every rep matters, that he's not just trying to make the team. He's building something. The Browns have seen flashes before, but this feels different. This feels sustainable. What happens now? Here's the tough part for the Browns. They can't ignore it anymore. Not after this week. Not after Myles Garrett, Jeudy, and other veterans have basically endorsed Shedeur without needing to be prompted. Not after the offense looks more alive when he's at the controls. Not after the fan base is already emotionally invested in the idea of him taking the reins. The coaching staff can play coy. They can talk about rotations, about competition, about reps. But the locker room sees what's happening, and the front office hears the buzz. At this point, trying to deny Shedeur's rise would feel like trying to hold back a flood with a folding chair. He hasn't taken over officially, but unofficially, he's already there. Shedeur Sanders hasn't just shown up in Cleveland. He's arrived. And everyone, from Myles Garrett to Jeudy to the fans in the cheap seats, can feel it. The strange part is, this wasn't the plan. Not for Shedeur, not for the Browns. Certainly not for Dillon Gabriel, who was supposed to have the inside track as a developmental guy in this quarterback room. But NFL training camp doesn't care about plans. It cares about proof. And every day that Shedeur Sanders lines up behind center, the Browns are watching a fifth-round pick make a fool out of the concept of hierarchy. He's not just playing like he belongs. He's making it awkward to pretend he doesn't. Behind the scenes, what players are really saying. Training camp talk is normally guarded. Teammates are polite. Vets don't make waves. Everything is business as usual. But when the cameras are off and the media is gone, that's when the real conversations happen. And right now, behind closed doors, Shedeur is all anyone's talking about. Some players are impressed. Some are surprised. Some are just flat out amused that the kid is this poised and this sharp already. But all of them are aligned on one thing. He's not just ahead of schedule. He's running it. One player reportedly joked that Shedeur practices like he's getting paid twice. And honestly, that might not be far off. Whether it's drills, scrimmages, or a film study, Sanders is treating every moment like it's game day. And that's why guys like Jeudy and Myles Garrett aren't waiting for an official title to follow his lead. He's already walking like the face of the offense. So naturally, the rest of the team is starting to fall in behind him. Command of the huddle, respect in the locker room. Leadership isn't loud. It's not rah-rah speeches and pointing fingers. It's the quiet confidence that when things get messy, one guy still knows what he's doing. That's Shedeur. His huddle presence is calm. He makes eye contact, calls protections clearly, adjusts routes with a subtle signal or two, and most importantly, he listens. You'll catch him grabbing a receiver after a misconnection and asking, not telling. You good on that read? You saw the safety rotate, right? That's veteran behavior. That's not something you teach a rookie. That's something they either have or they don't. And when a 21-year-old quarterback is already quarterbacking off the field as well as on it, it changes the entire dynamic. The locker room sees it. And the coaching staff? They're trying really hard not to admit they see it too. The branding machine that works because it's backed by game. Let's address the elephant in the room. Shedeur isn't a normal fifth-round rookie because he didn't come into the NFL as an unknown. Thanks to his father, Coach Prime, and his wild success at Colorado, Shedeur already had a national audience before he ever touched a pro playbook. The NIL deals, the YouTube following, the watch sponsorships, they're all part of the package. Normally, that's a red flag. Coaches worry about distractions. GMs get itchy when a rookie quarterback has more followers than the franchise account. It's risky. But in Shedeur's case, the hype machine works because the football holds up under pressure. He's not a TikTok QB. He's not a manufactured image. He's a worker, a grinder, the guy who shows up first, leaves last, and still has time to keep his media empire humming because he's that disciplined. The flash only works because the foundation is real. And that scares teams in the best way possible. Because now you're not just developing a quarterback. You're managing a movement. The Browns' quarterback history, a legacy of missteps. To fully understand how radical Shedeur's emergence is, you have to understand the Browns' long, painful relationship with quarterbacks. Cleveland's QB carousel is the stuff of legend. So many names, so little consistency. Every year, a new promise. Every season, a new disappointment. From first-round flameouts to short-term veterans who couldn't stay healthy or keep the locker room, it's been a revolving door of regret. So when a player like Shedeur comes along, one who looks not just competent, but revolutionary, it hits different. He's not the next in line. He might be the last one they need to get right, which is why every practice rep feels like a referendum on the front office's judgment. Are they brave enough to break the cycle, or will they keep playing the depth chart game while the future stares them in the face? Why the coaching staff is nervous. Kevin Stefanski and his staff aren't fools. They know what they're seeing. They know that if they let Shedeur continue to dominate reps with the second team, it's only a matter of time before the calls for him to start become impossible to ignore. But it's a political dilemma. 2, they already spent a third-round pick on Dylan Gabriel. There are guys in the building who back that move. Benching him in favor of a fifth-rounder before preseason even begins? That's not just a change in strategy. It's a shot to the ego of the decision-makers. And yet, can you really afford to sit Shedeur when he's clearly better? That's the quiet war playing out behind closed doors. Do we protect our pride? Or do we win football games? Because those two goals are starting to diverge in Cleveland. The players know the truth. The biggest test of any quarterback isn't the film. It's not the stats. It's not even the scrimmages. It's the way the team reacts when he's in control. Are the linemen communicating more clearly? Are the receivers energized? Does a huddle look sharper, more confident, more alive? With Shedeur, the answer is yes. Every time. You see it when a backup receiver hauls in a tight window dart and turns to Shedeur like he just caught a pass from Aaron Rodgers. You hear it when defensive players, despite getting beat, walk past him on the sideline with a smirk and a muttered, "Nice throw." That's not rookie treatment. That's franchise quarterback treatment. And it's already happening. The ripple effect. What happens if the Browns don't act? Here's the scary part for Cleveland. If they wait too long to hand Shedeur the keys, they risk doing long-term damage. Not just his momentum, but to the trust of the team. This locker room knows what it looks like when the wrong guy is behind center. They've lived it. And if they start to feel like the better player is being held back by politics, they'll never fully buy into the plan. That's how rifts begin. That's how coaches lose locker rooms. Not because of losses, but because of dishonesty. If you ask players to give everything they've got, but don't reward the guy who's clearly outplaying everyone, they start asking questions. And that's when the cracks show. No turning back. The Browns can try to slow play this. They can keep Shedeur as the exciting second option. They can hand-wave the hype as preseason noise. But deep down, they know the truth. The team knows it. The fans know it. The veterans have said it. Shedeur Sanders has already stepped into the role of a leader long before anyone was ready. And you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. Not when the energy's shifted. Not when the players have chosen a side. Not when the kid hasn't even played a game yet. And he's already become the gravitational force of the entire franchise. It's not about who starts week 1 anymore. It's about how long the Browns can afford to keep ignoring the guy who everyone else already treats like QB1. You can only hold back the tide for so long before the levee breaks. And in Cleveland, that levee has a name, Shedeur Sanders. He wasn't supposed to be the story. He wasn't even supposed to be ready. But with every throw, every drill, every subtle command of the huddle, Shedeur has made one thing painfully clear to anyone still clinging to depth charts and draft positions. He's not the future. He's the present. The pressure cooker inside the Browns QB room. Let's get real for a second. There's no such thing as a quiet quarterback battle. Not in Cleveland. Not after the years of misfires, false starts, and emotional whiplash at the position. This city has been through enough QB drama to write its own Netflix anthology. And right now, behind closed doors, it's getting louder. Dylan Gabriel might not say it out loud, but he feels the tension. You can see it in the rushed footwork, the occasional misread, the slight dip in confidence when things don't go right. And that's understandable. Imagine walking into camp thinking you were next up and realizing halfway through that you might already be yesterday's news. It's not just about the reps anymore. It's about the vibe. Every time Shedeur takes the field, there's electricity in the air. The receivers are more alert. The sidelines lean in. Even the veterans, who've seen it all, perk up just a little. That doesn't happen by accident. That happens when a player steps onto the field and raises the standard. Stefanski's dilemma. Stay the course or flip the script. Kevin Stefanski is a smart coach. He's calm, measured, process-driven. The type of guy who likes structure, plans, and methodical development. He's not one to make knee-jerk decisions. But Shedeur is throwing all of that out the window. How do you explain sticking to a plan when the outlier on your depth chart is consistently your best quarterback in practice? How do you keep justifying development time when the kid already looks more advanced than your second string and sometimes your starter? You can't. Not with the team watching. Not with the media catching wind. And not with ownership. Yes, Jimmy Haslam. Already making quiet calls and asking uncomfortable questions like, if he's the best player, why isn't he starting? Suddenly, the coach who craves stability is caught in a storm of his own creation. Because ignoring Shedeur now doesn't just feel wrong. It feels dangerous. Veteran support. Why players are all in. You want to know how a team feels about a quarterback? Watch what happens when the play breaks down. With Shedeur, guys keep running. They fight for space. They trust he's going to make something happen. And most of the time, he does. Jeudy has already been seen lingering after drills, working extra with Shedeur. Not just out of obligation, but out of investment. Because receivers know what kind of quarterback they want throwing them the ball. And Jeudy? He's seen enough quarterbacks to know the real thing when it shows up. Meanwhile, Myles Garrett doesn't even try to hide it. Asked casually about the offensive performance, he gave the most telling quote yet. That second-team kid ain't playing like no second-string quarterback. Translation, he's earned the defense's respect. And for a rookie, that's rare air. That's franchise quarterback territory. The optics problem, managing a media frenzy. It's not just an internal issue anymore. The media is starting to ask questions that make everyone squirm. Is Shedeur Sanders the most exciting rookie on this roster? Has Cleveland finally found its guy, and does the staff even realize it? Why isn't Shedeur getting more first-team reps? And it's not just local media. National reporters are catching on too. With every camp clip, every touchdown throw, every perfectly placed sideline dart, the internet adds more fuel to the hype machine. And when your owner is being asked on record if your rookie QB should start before he's even taken a preseason snap, you're not in control of the narrative anymore. The narrative is in control of you. Fan momentum. Hope with swagger. Cleveland fans aren't stupid. They've seen stars come and go. They've seen hyped-up busts, broken promises, and QBs who couldn't handle the pressure. But they've never seen a rookie like Shedeur Sanders. He's confident but not arrogant. Flashy but not flippant. Focused but still accessible. He gets it. And more importantly, he's delivering. There's a growing segment of fans who have already mentally installed him as the starter. Twitter is filled with mock depth charts and QB1 edits. Custom jerseys are being printed. Local sports radio is flooded with callers demanding to see him with the first-team offense yesterday. This isn't hype for hype's sake. This is a fan base that's been starved for something real, and suddenly sees it unexpectedly in a fifth-round rookie with the calm of a 10-year vet. They're all in, and if the team drags its feet, the backlash won't be polite. It'll be deafening. Dylan Gabriel's fork in the road. Let's not forget about Gabriel. He's still a pro, still grinding, still fighting. But the truth is harsh. The more Shedeur rises, the more Gabriel's window closes. It's not personal. It's just math. There's only so much spotlight to go around, and Sanders is swallowing all of it. For Gabriel, the question becomes, can he reframe his role and stay relevant? Or will he quietly drift into project territory while the rest of the building shifts its focus? Because one thing for sure, no one in that building can ignore what's happening. Not anymore. And the guy in front of Storm isn't budging. A culture shift in real time. What we're witnessing isn't just a quarterback battle. It's a culture shift. The old NFL rulebook said you had to wait your turn. That rookies needed to sit and learn. That fifth-round picks were practice squad fodder. But Shedeur isn't playing by that book. He's writing his own. He's showing that if you come in prepared, really prepared, not just with talent, but with maturity, presence, vision, leadership, and precision, you can skip the line. And that scares people, because it forces everyone to re-examine what they thought they knew about success in this league. It forces organizations to choose between their ego and the truth. It forces head coaches to either adapt or risk being left behind. Where this goes from here. Right now, the Browns are at a crossroads. They can embrace the moment and ride the wave, even if it means admitting that the rookie QB outplayed everyone. Or they can resist, delay, hide behind development, talk while the locker room and fan base move on without them. One path leads to excitement, to unity, to energy. The other, to apathy, to tension. To another name added to the long list of what could have beens. No matter what they choose, one thing is certain. Shedeur Sanders is no longer a rookie with potential. He's a leader in waiting. And the only real question left is how much longer they're going to make him wait.